Many in Congress felt it was too late for aid to accomplish much, and they had no desire to invest any further in a lost cause. The aid was not provided, and any slim hopes of turning the tide disappeared. But South Vietnam was not the first nation to fall in Southeast Asia. That fate belonged to Cambodia, where communist insurgents known as the Khmer Rouge were closing in on the capital city, Phnom Penh. Again, a sudden dramatic collapse was in progress. How had Cambodia reached this point? Charles Collingwood explained.
For years, while the war in Vietnam mounted in intensity next door, Cambodia seemed to lead a charmed life. Its capital city of Phnom Penh was gracious and uncluttered, unmarked by war. Cambodia's primitive agriculture ensured that no one was really hungry. The ancient rituals were undisturbed. That this was so was largely due to the machinations of Cambodia's colorful and exotic ruler, Prince Sihanouk. He was able to maintain an equilibrium between the rival attentions of the North and South Vietnamese, Americans, Russians, and Chinese, and dissidents within his own kingdom. Sihanouk had to give a little here and there, a border sanctuary to the North Vietnamese, a blind eye turned toward American bombings thereof, but for a long time he kept Cambodia unscathed. It was too good to last. In 1970, Sihanouk took a vacation in Europe. In his absence, he was promptly overthrown by his anti-communist Prime Minister, General Lon Nol, who appealed to the United States for help. It was not long in forthcoming. On April 30th, 1970, President Nixon announced that 70,000 American and South Vietnamese troops had entered Cambodia to wipe out the communist sanctuaries there. The so-called incursion accomplished little, but from that time on, not only was Cambodia in the war, but its fate was sealed. As usual at the beginning of a war, what passed for the martial spirit in Cambodia at first ran high. Youngsters enlisted, uniforms were popular, haphazard training was undertaken beneath the eyes of American advisors. Haphazard fighting followed. The anti-government factions quickly raised their own forces, trained and indoctrinated by the North Vietnamese. The war in Cambodia became a civil war, Cambodian fighting Cambodian. Every year the war dragged on, Cambodia became more like its neighbor. Its villages in ruins, its people turned into refugees, dependent on others for food and for medical care. Its cities terrorized by rockets from nowhere. The dead were everywhere. The United States invested $1.5 billion in Cambodia's defense, but nothing was enough to stem the insurgents' advance. As the end neared, only a few major population centers could be garrisoned by government troops. The perimeter around Phnom Penh had so shrunk that even the airlift of essential supplies was constantly interrupted by rebel fire. Nor did the firing stop when Lon Nol, after clinging to power for 5 years, said a tearful farewell and left for Indonesia and America. Cambodia was dragged into the war only in 1970, and it took no more than 5 years to reach the end of the road.